Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're taking a look at 5 of the best tips inside the entire game right now, and I'm definitely sure you won't know all of these tips, so make sure to stick around to the end of the video so you do not miss any of them, and also because there may be a bonus tip at the end of the video which you don't want to miss. So let's get into tip number 1. Okay, so this tip is actually going to be all around matchups and how to optimize them and get the best matchups for your team. So you'll see you get this starting screen here. So immediately from this, we know the Rosa spawning on the right, the Sandy's in the middle, and the Poco's on the left. So what does that actually tell us about how they're going to position up? So we know the Rosa is a lane brawler, so Rosa is most likely to go on this right lane. Sandy is another lane brawler, so Sandy is most likely to go on the left hand side. And Poco is obviously a mid, so Poco is going to go in that mid and be the gem carrier. So immediately we know exactly where they are going, and we can actually use this to our advantage. Okay, so after seeing this as an M, so I spawn on the left hand side, so most people would just go straight for this left hand side here, so the side they spawn on. But seeing that the Rose is on the right hand side, I'm going to swap lanes here, and it actually gives me a very good matchup because Ems is good against tanks, so I'm going to want to be against as many tanks as possible. So I obviously want to be against the Rosa from their comp, so I decided to go on the right hand side here, and it gives me a very good matchup which basically helps me win my lane. Okay, so if you're not sure about matchups, I'm going to give you a quick guide here to try and get the best matchup. Obviously I can't cover every matchup in 30 seconds, but I'm going to try my best. So we have the longer range brawlers, we have the tanks, and then we have the tank counters. So tank counters are going to be things like Spike and Ems, which are really good against tanks, high damage. So obviously you're going to want to go against tanks, as the name says. The longer range brawlers are normally going to be good against these tank counters, and the tanks are actually going to be pretty good against these longer range brawlers because they have a lot of pressure. So that is like a quick 30-second guide to try and get the best matchup. Okay, so a lot of people just don't understand how important matchups are in the game, and they are literally the most important thing inside the entire game. You can have the best player in the world, so like Guille or Twisty, and whoever you think is the best player in the world, playing the best brawler in the game, Sprout. So you have the best brawler in the entire game, the best player in the entire game, and they can still lose lane just because of matchups. Say a Sprout versus a Mortis, a decent Mortis can be the best player in the world playing Sprout because Mortis is just so good against throwers. So it just shows you how important matchups are, and even the best players cannot win some matchups, so matchups are just so important. Okay, so moving into tip number 2 then. So this one is exclusively in the Brawl Ball game mode and comes in kind of 2 parts. So the first part is where you can shoot just in front of the goal to guarantee yourself a goal every single time. Even if there's 3 of the enemy brawlers in the goal trying to be Neuer, this will go in every single time, and that is it's just a few centimeters behind the goal line. I have it on screen right now for you so you can learn this, but yeah, you basically need to play a lot of games to learn this and just keep going over and over again to learn the exact spot where you can do this to go in, because it saves me so many games. The amount of games I must have won because of this, and the amount of games I've lost because of this. This is definitely a tip which all the pros use, and yeah, you're definitely going to want to take into your gameplay if you're going to want to improve it. Okay, so the second part to this tip then is to do with the health of the brawler when you're trying to do this tip and get to the spot where you can shoot and score every single time. So with low health brawlers, you're going to get killed very quickly. You have to take into account what damage 3 shots of the enemy does, and normally they can get these 3 shots off, but in certain situations they can only get 2 shots off. So this is definitely something to take into account. So if you have a high health brawler like a tank or maybe a Pam, most of the time you're going to be able to get to this spot if there's one enemy with low damage. But if there's a high damage enemy in the goal, it's going to stop you getting there like a Spike or a Ball, and you definitely don't want to go for this or try and get and score. You just want to sit back and hold control. But yeah, you definitely just want to keep playing and learning how much health you have, and just get a feel for what damage the enemy brawlers does to try and get into this spot. Okay, so moving into tip number 3 then. So this one is going to be in Siege when defending a Siege boss, and this is honestly where I see the biggest difference, not only between pros and just normal players, but even the top tier pros and just kind of normal pros, because there's such a big difference between trying to get every single interaction to save 1 bit of health from your safe and your Ike. And yeah, I see so many people just not being able to defend siege bots that they should be able to defend. So we're going to say there's 2 types of siege bots. So the first one is the round 1 or 2. So they're going to be less than 10, pretty easy to defend normally, shouldn't really take much damage, should never really get 1 push from one of these bots. And then the second type being the last bot, which is obviously the big bot, pretty hard to defend, but yeah, you can definitely still defend it. So we're going to break down every brawler, what they should be using and what they should be doing So we have this combo I've just made up. So say like a Jean, a BB, and a Barley, which is quite a common combo right now on Siege. So the BB should be trying to get a kill on one of the enemies to make it easier to like defend the boss, or in fact any of your teammates, if they can pick up a kill whilst the Siege bot is coming in to make it easier to defend, then they should definitely do that. But yeah, so the BB is going to be putting pressure. He's also going to be attacking the Siege bot with the Jean behind. The Jean heal, Magic Puffs is going to be healing the BB, and also like tanking a bit of the boss, so just slowing it down, making sure your Ike can shoot the boss and yeah, it doesn't get in there and just start doing a ton of damage. But also the Jean, as well as standing there providing the Magic Puffs healing to the other brawlers, should also be trying to get that pull and pull the boss away. Normally you don't need to waste pull on like the rounds 1 or 2 boss, but only on the 3rd boss, but sometimes this like changes. And for the Barley, so the Barley has obviously the heal star power, so if all your team on full health, then you're probably doing something wrong, because you're going to be tanking the boss pretty much. Like keep changing that, so who's tanking the boss. So Barley gets 400 heal every time he shoots. So if your Barley's on full health, then what is he doing? Because he should be tanking the boss at least once and then shooting to heal back up. And yeah, he can heal back up while shooting, so why isn't he just tanking the boss and waste some more time? So yeah, this is definitely some tips which I think will help you guys improve defending Siege bots. Okay, so the 4th tip is going to be around Ultram. Now Ultram can be the best thing in the game, or it can be the worst thing in the game if you don't know how to use it, because Ultram is legit one of the best things in the game. But yeah, if you don't know how to use it, you can just miss every shot and play really bad. So with brawlers, like the short range brawlers like Bull and Dara, are going to be ultraming pretty much the whole time. And then throwers you're never going to want to ultram with. The long range brawlers, at long range you're not going to want to ultram, you're going to want to manually aim. But when they get closer and get into kind of ultram range, you're going to want to obviously ultram. And there is kind of a point where every single shot for these long range brawlers will actually hit. It's different for every one of these brawlers, but you kind of do need to learn this, because every single ultram will hit, and like no matter whether they go left, right, or stay in the middle, this ultram will hit. So definitely try and learn this range, especially for like Piper, Brock, Jean, some of the more common long range brawlers. And also you shouldn't really be ultraming people in the bushes, because if the game like doesn't see them, then it doesn't know they're there, so it just treats it like they're not there. But you know, if you can see them in the bush, then you're probably good to ultram, because the game will also see it as well. So yeah, you should be able to ultram in those situations. Okay, so this final tip then is going to be around a brawl ball, and in particular the actual ball itself. So the ball obviously costs 1 ammo to shoot, and the same for enemies, it costs 1 ammo as well. If you've ever been in a situation where like you and the enemy are both one shot and they pass you the ball, you have no shots because you have to like pass the ball away, and then they kill you, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about here when I say that like passing the enemy the ball is actually a really good tactic, especially if you have a lot of shots and they don't, or if you have like a really quick reload speed brawler like Max, because essentially you're gonna get ammo back quicker than them. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty beneficial to use it if you can chuck it at them and they're like they have a slow reload like Piper, or just some other brawlers with slow reload speed, because yeah, you're gonna get your ammo back quicker than they are. So essentially you're getting your ammo back quicker, and therefore like you can do more damage to them and kill them quicker, and also just waste their time as well having to shoot the ball away. So definitely try and use this tactic if you are trying to like win 1v1s in Brawl Ball. It's pretty nice to use and can be quite annoying if people use it against you, but definitely make sure you're trying to use this if you want to win more Brawl Ball games. Okay, so moving into the bonus tip, then definitely let me know in the comments if you made it to this part of the video for the bonus tip, and that'd be pretty epic. So this tip is actually only occurs in Bounty. So it's when you have a 1v1 with another brawler. So say it's a Brock 1v1 and you just ultram, you both kill each other, so one of you has to die before the other one, and the one that actually dies first will actually get the better trade than the other one, because what happens is basically you both shoot your rockets. Okay, so one of the Brocks dies, so that means the other Brock gets 3 stars, so gets an extra star for getting the kill, and then that Brock's rocket, which has actually already been shot before he died, is actually gonna pick up the kill on the Brock, getting the extra star, so it actually be a 2 for 3 trade. So in these situations, what you want to do is kind of, you want to be the last person to shoot but definitely make sure you're still picking up the kill and you don't shoot too late. They're gonna miss, say like the Brock, to get the kill. And yeah, you can definitely use this to get a sneaky advantage, get that 1-star advantage on your enemies in these 1v1s, which is really helpful to get some bounty wins. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did learn anything new, make sure to let me know what you learned down below. And if you didn't learn anything new, then you must be lying, because this video was pretty epic and I doubt you knew everything. But if you want to be a GOAT, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.